Definitely it doesn't.
So we are judging
a fish on how to climb, I don't know, a tree or something like that.
Yeah.
But for me, there are a good chunk of energetic young men who gave it now their all.
Yeah.
We taught these students,
Yeah.
and a good chunk of them, there is a person who went now to the university, straight to the university. Those days it was B+.
Yes.
For JAB.
Yeah.
Right now C+. I see people getting the C+, and they're like, I know a person who, in that humble beginnings or less resources, they could still manage the B+.
Yes.
And go to uni. So
Yes.
it was my most fulfilling time. Even till now, the 2 years that I spent before joining uni teaching, because you're teaching almost every subject.
Yeah.
At 8, you go back to the house, we're riding bikes to work back home. At 8, you're just
So exhausted.
You're just, after dinner, you're seated on and you just switch off and you're gone. You're sleeping, you wouldn't feel yourself.
Yeah.
But I look at the people who now came out of that time. And even now I was now scripting for them drama. Because the first year I couldn't do drama. I went to a different school. But they did, music festival is cheap.
Yes.
Set piece, poems, nini. But now they could go till provincial schools. You could see the esteem, just the self-esteem, because there are now these big schools in that they have buses and all.
They realize these are just normal kids.
And then, so you see, even in Funkies, there are particular schools who normally fear. It's like maybe in other schools, you're coming from a village school and you really don't believe in yourself. There is Friends School Kamsinga or I don't know, Alliance or whatever. You don't really believe in yourself.
Yeah.
But that year when they beat now these provincial schools from Busia that have buses and whatever, it was the first time they hired a van to take them to a different school.
Wow.
What it made them feel, even the whole village, it's like, guys are, they're moving from their village to another county for provincials.
Yeah.
It really gave them their psyche. The second year, I wrote a verse and a narrative.
Yeah.
But now, because I'm the one who really even painted the backdrops, I did all that. And the setting was a school, so we didn't really need costume or whatever. So their uniforms in drama was also part of the thing. So to make it cheap, they also went now to provincials, and that time the provincials were in Friends School Kamsinga.
Wow.
So you see, it was like a motivation. The way guys like Friends School were going to Alliance for the cross.
Yeah.
But for this, what it just did to them, moving from there to Friends School Kamsinga, trying to see that coming back after that, just the psyche and the belief in themselves way out of this world. Till now, it has really grown. Right now with support, even now the number of schools now in Busia that have grown, started in that way, the transition rate now increased, and I'm glad. I'm glad. So I think the fulfillment from that, at some point, it now drew me towards academia in a way. So
even when you're joining computing,
one way or another, it would either come back
because you could see the impact that.
Yes, at least at a personal level, I felt fulfilled. I've never been fulfilled like those 2 years that I did at Budokomi. It had a huge impact. So I came to UN, Chiromo, did the computer science, as you're saying. You're meeting these amazing
very
and very smart guys. In our class, you could tell guys, even guys from the very villages and whatever, they're doing amazing. The person getting a computer for the first time there, and he beats you hands down.
Me, I got it in second year. My classmate can speak for themselves. Second year, second semester. But you come to computing, and this is maybe something that people don't really share a lot. Even I think I forgot to ask Nanda. Tell them this experience of the first semester. You are taught what you know your entire, is it 12 years within a month. And then discrete math is introduced to you, and it's tested.
For you, who was Abu is
still there, teaching electrical engineering, all the engineering, they learned their discrete from Abungu.
From Abungu.
Yes, we did our Africa Stocking Summit last year at the University of Nairobi, and I checked around. We had this conversation with some engineering students, and I asked them, who is teaching you discrete? Abungu.
Prof.
Yes.
Abungu.
Yes. And this guy teaches using notes.
Yes.
And he tells you that this is one discrete math book that is at Chiromo Library. Last time I checked, it's at Chiromo Library. It's one. You just go and borrow it for one day. Be kind enough to bring back. But pay more attention to page this. You go there, you'll find the book, yes, but you don't find the page. I don't know if that was your experience.
At least they're quite a bit for me discrete, as I told you, maths was quite straightforward for me. So discrete wasn't much of a problem. Calculus, he was the same who taught calculus and discrete.
Now we were taught by another guy. Yes. This is also another fascinating guy.
Okay.
I can't remember his name. He was a doctor, brown looking guy, with suits and whatever. But this guy was fascinating, man. He didn't carry a book.
You could do the differentiation.
You're like, dude, where is all this knowledge coming from? Like, there's someone who can learn from, and you're like, man, these are all different level of knowledge. But go ahead.
Yeah. So for me, the discrete, it's funny. Yeah. All of it is maths, but I think I'm the logical guy, because for me, maybe this other calculus wasn't much of the logical.
Yeah.
And it's funny, I normally used to wonder, I could almost tell I would get the A in discrete and not in calculus. I was slightly, I needed to work quite a bit on the calculus.
Yes.
But the grades were the other way around.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, so I was like, I wanted to meet Abungu and ask him, by the way, you switched, since you're the one taking the both of them, did you switch the two? Or because for discrete it was quite straightforward to me compared to this.
That's how it makes it look, but it's not. The reason I knew why it's not straightforward. I did more. Like I went to YouTube and checked out discrete math from MIT and Stanford videos. They put those videos.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, man, this dude is making very complex things look simple, but they're not.
They're not simple.
Because as this dude will explain one theorem, because this is about understanding how computers work and how they come up with these things faster, right? And then I see, how the MIT do the math, and then they pull the board, like 3-4 boards, one theory. And Abungu is here with his notes. Guys, nothing much. This is what your cat will. Because you could give you like 2 questions, accounting for like 30%. So calculus was the one that you failed. you passed, and the other one you failed.
I see. Not failed, because it was an A and a B. So I could think not failing per se. I was just like the 2 grades could be switched. I felt this other one, I worked quite harder at it to get that. But this other one, it was even from the cards and whatever, because I got, I don't know, a 28 in discrete out of the 30 or something like that. So I was like, and the exams, But the interesting people in Chiromo, in SCI.
Now it's a department. I don't know why they supposed to remain a school. I feel like it could grow more. Actually, when they should, But anyway, as the smart people look at things, I was even to have some podcasts. Maybe I should and try to exchange knowledge and try to expound on modern knowledge-based society, which is actually one of the courses at the computing, and the impact it has on kind of solution we want to see, because you're living in a digital world.
Sure.
And I feel that school actually could grow enormous. Like every department in every school actually should have a computing element in it. And the School of Computing actually should lead that.
By the way, it could be that, but I think the strategy that your N had, for me, it was, like other universities at that time, it was the only computing related course. It was the only computing related course But one, computer science, it's not like there is software engineering. I don't know, like KU or JQuad, they could have electronics and computer engineering. I don't know, software engineering. Mixing quite a bit. For your N, at undergrad, we only had computer science.
That's it.
At year 2, you would get a diploma. At
if you want to leave, please,
you can
by all
leave.
means.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that was another good thing that I think it was
going deep.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a thing that you see the people like currently you find somebody struggle and at year 2 maybe because of one reason or another you couldn't proceed.
Yeah.
You could at least have a fallback of the diploma or something.
Yeah.
But also at year 4 get your degree.
Yeah.
But for me at master's level they have quite a number of programs and they were even doing entry exams.
Yeah.
Because now it had attracted a lot more than they could.
Yeah.
But now you'll find other universities, you're trying to either water down the computer science into different versions and things like that
to attract
different people.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a strategy for your N or something like that. But I hear you.
But no, actually, I share in the sentiment because I'm a believer of going deeper and because there's so much.
Sure.
But also, I'm looking at the modern world day education, right? And the impact of this different education. All I'm saying is that, and I think we can have this conversation with all the professors there at some point, because also, there's more discussion there.
Sure.
Is that computing as it is at the University of Nairobi, it's worth to be looked at. Even these other universities actually can learn one or two things.
Sure.
Not only that, but even other departments.
Within the university. Sure.
Yes. Because you look at even the guys who come out of that, even if there are few graduates really and do like upper class and stuff, there's something I feel like if other guys actually could, and School of Computing could offer that as something that they say, okay, this is what you are offering, for I don't know if for pay or for something, but now it could actually even change the dynamics of how we look at things or open an industry.
I see.
Because even the projects that actually people do at a graduate level, master's level, top notch. So that's that. But of course, within a school there are so many handles, as I know. I'm not so familiar. Shortly, I worked at the University of Nairobi, but we'll get there. There are so many handles, and of course, you don't just come up with. However innovative they are, they have. The Senate has to sit down and say, this is it. We agree. Let's go. So you join first year. Your experience is good, and you meet smart guys. Do you really catch up in terms of performance and keep track until the end, or how was it for you?
At least in terms of performance, I thank God. I thank God. I had an amazing time. Yeah, made great friendships. As you're saying, really amazing and smart people. Yeah.
Shout out to all the
to all the guys. Class of 2011. We graduated 2011.
Yeah,
but great guys doing amazing stuff.
Yeah,
guys could do
movers and shakers all over the world.
Even right now, all over the world. Yeah, so to speak.
Yeah. I was
at least for me, I thank God. I really maybe didn't really drift quite much, and then thanks to even projects that were there pushed by the faculty, Prof Egessa, nowadays Prof Orwa. There were quite a number. There was Nokia Research Lab, so quite a bit of the projects that were there. We were fortunate enough to be part of the groups that at least
get some side gigs.
No, so that one was even a structured side gig for the project. So there was a project by Nokia Research Lab and a number of, now at second year we did one of the groups, but a number of second years, third years on that, building a particular pilot or proof of concept. There was another, so even from the Nokia, there were quite a number of projects that now students are doing, and you could, there was actual just payment from it. And
nice.
In school at that time, it was quite something. Yeah. And also just the experience in working in teams and building solutions at that particular time.
Yeah.
And then quite a number went to, because at that time is when Facebook was also the accounts.
Yes.
So a good chunk went to Stanford. There was some bit of exchange at that time. A number Google was taking some interns at that, Google Africa at that time. So it was quite some good experience, and you could see what the value that maybe the school was providing, or quite a number of faculty who had those projects and things like that.
And I don't know. Did you meet now is a Dr. Royo?
Royo, yes.
He taught you HCI.
Mostly there was system analysis and design, and also he was mostly teaching.
What was your experience? Because I have very funny experience. I don't know, man. Like
I would love to hear yours.
Royo is a monotone guy. He speaks in some decibels that don't increase or reduce. So, man, I could not make it 10 minutes into it.
It is.
It sounded like lullaby. 10 minutes, I'm like feeling so dizzy. So I had to. How I hacked that course is I had to go and do my own personal reading and research and all that. But man, that guy could speak in a very. The reason why I remember him specifically is because the other day I don't know who I was talking. Oh no, the event we had at the Sote Hub. For some reason, while presenting, I remembered him, and what I was trying to put across is that regardless of the knowledge you get, please find a way of getting more. If really it's something fast. Because you see, HCI CDs are very important, especially in the modern day technology. Because if you build something and it's not usable, it's not palatable, it's not something that someone could really hone, then you have missed the point.
Sure.
And here we have a lecturer who is super smart, but delivery. Man, I know you're a lecturer and you know there are those lecturers.
I understand. I think for me, at a personal level, I think this is what I consider I think I'm a very considerate person. Either quite slow to, because this may not be anger, slow to, I accommodate, I'm quite patient.
Yeah.
And I think either the teaching experience at Budokomi gave a bit of that to me. Even when we are disagreeing with people, I could be quite either accommodative or patient to try hear your whatever.
Your reasoning,
And then I guess, I don't know if there was any connection then, but much later, whatever he did in his PhD and whatever it is I did, there are particular theories that now even during my PhD, I went to him, he was kind enough to give me his PhD. We're working on the same theory. So
man, I need to meet him once more and tell him.
It was good, but I would wish it would be maybe this way or that way. I feel you.
So for you, it didn't feel like it was.
Maybe my personality.
Maybe
trying to.
Maybe I'm the one who processed how he presented this in a monotone.
Maybe.
And actually, it's good because nowadays I'm going back there to visit and also introduce some of the community aspect as well as talk about the knowledge and stuff with the student. If I bump to him or any other person, because I find. And it's the way life is.
Sure.
You'll meet people who you find them certain way. By that time, you might not be able to tell them or give them feedback, or maybe even need to give feedback.
Feedback is good. It's good. It could be. Maybe there could be another MK there. At the moment.
Sure.
Or,
But I didn't do that bad. But I could do more.
I see.
Yes. So, there are a couple of lecturers. How did you find Okello, by the way, Professor, the late?
That was interesting.
Assembly language.
Prof was, there are those people who are, you're calling smart people, and he had, for me, either, he was also very soft-spoken, but the delivery, there are lots of technical stuff that he's delivering. He's delivering there. But it
that needs more investigation and internalizing.
A lot of thought process.
Because for him, he really used books and slides.
Yeah.
Slides, he could send them, you find time, you read them. But when he comes there, he breaks down assembly language like it's a 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of stuff. Yeah, man, the UON, big up, SEI, man, it's crazy. It's really good. So, what are some interesting aspects towards the end of the or even what did you build for second year project?
So, for second year, funny enough, it was a that time it was meant to be a solo project, but at that time we did 2 people 1 project. So that's how. Yeah. So there is Eric Ngei.
Ngei.
He was my roommate in first year, and then in second year there was a project we were calling it. Was it IVR? Yes, it was an IVR. So at that time, the technology wasn't really much there like it is right now. So like the
was
voice.
Was it about virtual reality or voice?
No.
Call, yeah.
It was a voice you're recording. Like the press 1 to. So it's interactive voice response. Whatever you'll call Safaricom and press 1 for this and then 2 for that. At that time, it wasn't, because that was 2009. It wasn't that much there. So we built a solution for a doctor, and it had now the IVR component. So the patients could. So I was working on the IVR side, and then he worked on the doctor's system, because it had, Dr. Oro was a supervisor prof now. Yeah. So there were those 2 components. And by that time, there used to be those, it was the most innovative at that time. They used to call it Science Fest or something. There was we used to have Nucomsa could organize all the projects the last year, either the last Nini, and then you demonstrate. And then there used to be a dinner after that. So at second years, we were invited here. We were invited to the 4th year's dinner at, that time it was Intercon, I think, So Ngei, big up. So that was what it is we did at second year. At 4th year, Dr. Nganga was my supervisor. I did an application for fish farmers. So I think this fishing thing, looking back, things started because coming from Busia, fish is a staple food, and that time there was they used to call it economic stimulus program. So the government had pumped quite a bit of money to fish farmers within Busia. So I was working with the fisheries officer in Busia. Picking. So at that time, I think the way technology moves. That time mobile, you had to code a mobi.mobi, and then there was the actual web app. And then now Google Maps at that time. So it was also, you could either some recommender algorithm for get maps where if at all you're a trader and a fish farmer, when the things. So that is what the application for I did in 4th year. Then.
Interesting, man. Like you did some amazing. You know, when you talked about IVR now, Africa's Talking Voice came into mind, man. I'm like, even Africa's Talking
now,
there
much,
yet.
Much. Come to think about it, now there are technologies that are actually doing that. But at that time, because it was on Linux, we built quite a number of either some open source stuff that we were trying to reconfigure to, and then record it. So at that time, record, get some people to do the voice records, and then now, if at all they press a particular beat, it goes to another and all that.
Man, and did it cross your mind that you can pursue these projects later on, like, and build something of value out of them?
It may or may not have, and the bit that I told you, for me, maybe entrepreneurship doesn't come as a first. It's not in. Another person could look at it in many other different ways and really push and pursue it in. Like maybe that, because we called it Tunganisha, it was like a way. At that time, maybe before this, the e-commerces and linking either farmers and traders or things like that. Because that time it was quite a bit. Had we pursued it maybe as a startup then and had that push to take it places, I think we would have done. So it may have occurred, but maybe I didn't have it in me to, or either the ecosystem or pushing it along that direction. Then, yeah.
And in both your projects, you passed really well. You got the maximum you could, because they account for like 4 units.
Because one was like, it was quite a lot. The second year one was 2. This other one was about either 6 or I don't know, something like that.
Oh.
I think at that time the curriculum, I guess it was about either 6 or so.
Oh, okay.
I think so.
Okay, now I think they do 4. They used to, when by the time I was doing it, it was 4.
Okay, 4. For us, second year was like 2. This other one was a lot more.
Yeah, I'm a more practical guy.
But a funny thing is, I don't know whether for you also the experience during presentation at the final, the things just during the presentation there is a particular bit, the bit that just you've stayed overnight doing a particular thing
and you break
you just break the code in a way, and that's it was working. Even I demonstrated it yesterday to
the supervisor.
And
then the supervisor doesn't want to be on your side to look like, you know what.
Yeah, I don't know if you had any of such experience.
I did, but I found out. For me, packaging things is not the biggest challenge in my life.
Oh,
like you could give me anything and I could package it to be palatable. Because I also realize people don't care about the tech so much, the practicality of it. They care of the solution or the impact. So if you really package that really well and even if you demonstrate the practicality of it up to 70%, still good.
How I wish that message should go to very many engineers.
Yeah.
I don't know if they get it, because quite a number of the engineers are fascinated with the tech, and maybe that's where either computer science or whatever. It's like, I stayed hours of code and all that. And you see, this is what, but at least on the ground for the layman or whoever, it's what that enable him to do. So they may the features that they'll be interested in may not be the one that you spent months and years to. So that is a message you should take to more and more.
Yeah, and this reminds me, there's another course, I think it's called OP, if I remember. Taught by Pauline. I think Pauline was your classmate or something.
She was about either 2 or 3 years ahead.
Yeah, she taught us some OOP. And there's this project she said we make. And then I used to do a lot of things outside school, and because, I did stay at the school. So I went and got an open source project. It was a chat. Then chat was not a big deal. Even message, the Facebook message was broken, which was the initial chat. WhatsApp was not really up there. And given it's an open source, you have the open source code. So I tweaked it, because at the end of the day, we needed a project to present.
Yes.
And when I presented, it was too good to be true to her. She was like, "Where did you get this one?" I said, "It's open source." Not like I built it from scratch, because building message, it's chat message is quite complex for 3 months or 4 months, one person. And I think she wasn't satisfied with that for some reason. But ideally for me, I was like, wow, maybe I'm ahead of my time.
Sure.
And then eventually, actually, open source became big to an extent that Open Data said every government should adopt to open source and open data, right? I know, of course, open data is all the same as open source, but of course, getting something that actually works and adopting it to serve the purpose is something else that people ignore a lot.
Sure.
And they want to reinvent the wheel every time.